What to do when your offer falls short. I'm Tanya Daka of TanyaDaka.com, here with
Robin J. Rosenhaus of RobinJRosenhaus.com.
And we have Renegade As Fuck for you. No rules life, no rules business, or no rules business, no rules life. I forgot I have no rules.
Getting mixed up.
Welcome to this week's episode. What do you do when it doesn't work? So like what happens in business when you try something and it doesn't work? We go back to like what I just asked you and say, was it the offer? Was it the audience? Was it not the offer, but the offer wasn't quite there yet? Like it's the right offer, but not made. The copy is what I'm talking about. Is the offer good? The copy's not. The audience didn't match. And moving through the battery of questions that way when things don't work, because a lot of times what I've noticed is business owners tend to take on, oh, well, this didn't work. So they either go to something else or they beat themselves up about it. And like, I'm just not going to do it again. I'm not going to do anything again. Or I'm no good at this. So now I need to look at, like, it just completely wrecks their mentality. But what you have to do, because I was talking to a colleague the other day, and he was like, yeah, but this used to be this kind of package. But, since COVID, I had to pivot. So I'm going to present it this way. If it doesn't work, then, they'll move on to something else. And I was like, well, but why? Because it sounds like a really, really good program that you've converted it to, that you've translated it to. So rather than just scrap it if it doesn't work, find out what needed to happen to make it work, right? Find out if you if you put it in front of a big enough audience, or if you did enough outreach to get enough people interested. Because a lot of people, and this is, we post to our audience and then we forget that nobody outside of our, 1,000 people are seeing it. And so it doesn't get the traffic and the teeth that it needs. And then, two, maybe the offer needed to be written differently. The copy needed to be presented differently, right? Maybe it's that the offer needs tweaking. So like the program is good, but let's make it, fewer weeks and more impact or something like that, rather than making it like an 8-week program. Maybe it needs to be a 4-week program, something that they feel like they can complete and move through quickly. You know what I mean? So just like with your carbonara, things can't just be shut down when they don't work. We have to analyze why, right?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that business coaches in general, at least in my experience, don't teach is how to diagnose a problem, how to troubleshoot. Like, okay, that didn't work. Boom, move on. Now, in the case of my carbonara, I just wanted to try something new and different, right? So like, that's the other thing. What's your intention? So I wanted to try something new. I wanted to try something different. I was a little bored. It doesn't mean that much to me to fully and completely diagnose what went wrong with this and analyze and troubleshoot.
Right.
But I know from personal experience, like how many times I've put something out there and it's fallen flat. Mm-hmm. And then what happens is too many of us, well, me, there's this emotional attachment to what we're putting out there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And, and that's a death knell.
Yeah.
Because then you take it personally, it didn't work. Mm-hmm. And now you have these business coaches saying, oh, well, it wasn't the right offer for your audience. But maybe it was the right offer. And like you said, maybe it just needs to be the offer itself. The copy needs to be tweaked. Maybe you weren't clear enough in what problem it solves that they want solved.
Right.
Because that's like, and I know you see that all the time. Like, we're all out there, and especially if you happen to talk to more of the spiritual or the life coachy people, mm-hmm. It's like, we're all like, oh, we're going to solve this problem, which is like under this. And people recognize that's the problem.
Right. Right.
Mm.
Your audience has to see that connection. Your program has to be the solution to the problem that they know they have.
Yeah.
They
And
have,
that they want to fix.
right. There's a whole level of, yes, this is a problem, and no, I'm not willing to do anything about it because I have other things to do. Right. But then you have to come in, you have to make that connection for them and be like, this is why X is not working. Y is not going to work until you get X working, and then let them see it that way. But even in that moment, the means that you use to get their attention has to be something that they are aware of. Yeah.
And yeah, and like I feel like we've got different problems in terms of getting our stuff out there and getting it seen than we did before COVID, because like first we went through this period during COVID where all of a sudden now everybody's online,
Mm-hmm.
and and more people are online, which is great.
Yeah.
But they're getting inundated, and now what's happening is we're slowly moving out of that and back to more in person and more hybrid events.
Mm-hmm.
And and like 2 months I said, Robin, what are you doing today? And it's like, oh, I'm doing this, that, and the other. Today I'm like, oh well, when we get done, I'm going to finish a couple things up and out of here. I'm going shopping.
Yep.
So now the customers are spending less time online.
Mm-hmm.
And people are looking for more in-person events. And so just because your thing isn't working, maybe create it in a hybrid type of thing, or maybe it needs to be evergreen.
Right.
Like it's like, don't throw the baby away with the bathwater. So like,
I love that saying. Yeah. So there's so when something doesn't work, then those are definitely the questions that need to be asked. What was the offer? What was what was the solution for? What's the problem that your audience recognizes? Was there a disconnect there? Did I present that in the copy? And then if not, and did you address all the objections? And so forth. So there's a lot that goes into diagnosing why something didn't work. And I think it's worth it if you felt like when you launched it that it's something that you did want to invest time in, you wanted to see grow, because a lot of times, and we all do that, I think we get these inspirational, like, this is what I need to present, and then we go and do it, and then our inspiration sort of falls flat, and it's like, okay, I'm bored with that now. I don't want to invest any time in that. Just so the difference would be if you felt like it was something that you were passionate about, and I feel like too, that passion for whatever it is that you're doing should be able to move you through that battery of questions so that you can get to the next iteration of that same offer. So, if you don't have passion for it, then it doesn't get diagnosed. You don't even fucking care. Go on about your business and move on to the next thing. But don't move on to things that don't ignite you. You know what I mean? Like, don't just throw offers out just because, hey, so-and-so over there is doing XYZ. I can do something similar. Let me go and do the same thing. All right. So, I mean, even though you can do it, it won't be from you. It won't be something that you were like, this is my thing. This is my jam. Unless it is. If it is that, then move on. You'll be able to put it out there and ignite that same passion in other people for what it is that you want to get out there. So, rant over.
Yeah, and also just because you table something doesn't mean that you're not going to feel that fire again months from now.
True.
And
that we revisit then.
Yeah. And it's like when I became 30 days, like I was like, yeah, let's do it, blah 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 blah. And and if 30 days have finished, and I was like, I felt good, it was done. I've had several people say, are you going to do it again?
I love
eventually.
Yeah. I mean, it's for you because it I think it tends to get monotonous and whatever. But for the people that are on the other side of the content creation are not necessarily feeling that. And even if that's the case, if you don't have that fire to do it, when you do get that fire, you'll be ready. They'll be ready for you to run it again.
Yeah. And, just going back to the diagnostics for a minute, that just reminds, I had a conversation with somebody a couple of days ago, and she's like, oh, I heard a bunch of people in this group that we're in together, just worked with you with 30 something, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, now I did a decent amount of marketing for 30K in 30 days. And this is somebody who's in my feed, who regularly consumes my content. And she had no clue that I ran that.
The algorithms
newsletter, right? It's like newsletter, everything else. Grant Cardone says, in terms of content creation, they're not complaining. You're not putting enough out. Now, you can have different, everybody can have their own opinion, but what I'm learning more and more, and when you talk to me about my, how much I'm posting too, so, and not, as in not enough.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting, because with the algorithms, you do have to kind of post to the point where you feel like you're being a pain in the neck, because
you do. And it makes it harder, because that means you need to be finding new ways to say that same thing. When you do post, you don't want to post and post and post and post the same thing. You want those ideas to come across as fresh, because one of those ways is going to strike the eyes. Even though they've been seeing that other stuff go through, that point wasn't connecting, but one of those posts is going to approach that angle in a way that they are like, oh, that's what that is. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it comes down to being creative about your approach of the content, and then being consistent, like painfully consistent. And that's
painfully consistent.
Painfully consistent. Seriously, literally, because you feel like, I don't like to repeat myself. And I don't know if because I read somewhere that it's like introverts that don't like to repeat themselves. But then I don't know. I just thought that was just me being my brat self. Like, you should be listening to me for the first time I talk. But so when I feel like I have to say these things over and over and over again, even though, I'm saying them differently, it feels very sort of, I just don't want to. I don't want to. So it does become painful, and having to beat that horse, even though it died 7 beatings ago. So, but it is a requirement, regardless. Renegade as fuck, do life and business your way. Consistency is the key, period. You cannot get around it. Okay. You can do what you want to do all you want. You can do it. Like, you'd be like, I'm going to post it twice. Okay, go ahead. You post it twice. You're not going to get the result. There are some universal law. So universal law that you can't get around.
It's like, renegade as fuck, do what you want, right? But it doesn't mean you're going to get the result that you want. Exactly. I mean, that's the law of, you're talking about the law of cause and effect now.
Yeah.
Is what you're doing. I mean, if you want to get pregnant, you're either going to have to hex or get implanted, one or the other, right? Like, period, the end. And if you don't want to do either one of them, you ain't going to get pregnant.
Right. That's true.
And I'm not talking about having a kid. I'm just, and,
right.
I mean, like, it just to be specific, and I hate that it's true.
I know. This should not be a thing. I should be able to say what I want to say. Everybody should see it. Everybody should love it. And everybody should be knocking on the door to get in. Period.
I'm sorry. Are you inside my head again?
That's that damn Leo.
I know. And I'm wearing my suns today.
There you go. There you go. Light it up. So yeah, so when it comes to Renegade as Fuck business, then that creativity, that consistency, and doing that part, however you want to do it. And that can be, you can be in people's DMs, and you can be in people's groups, and you can run ads, you can run webinars, you can do, all that stuff. Again, you got to get people's attention. 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 I'm going to say it again. You got to get people's attention. You have to get their attention.
Yeah, you really do. And the is you're not the only one trying to get their attention.
No. It's tough. It really is tough. And it's not for the faint of heart. It's not for those who are willing to just lay down and say, I can't do this. And I don't think that there's anybody that can't do this. I think it's just a matter of they're not willing to get around their resistance to doing the work that needs to be done. Oh, but I'm an introvert. I don't give a fuck. You still have a path. There's still a path you can walk. Oh, but I don't like posting every day. I don't give a fuck. That's your problem.
Yeah, okay. But you know what? But there are ways around that, right? Hire somebody.
Yeah, that comes down to your resources. Either you have the time or you have the money. If you've got the money to hire somebody and let them do all that for you, have at it. If you don't, you have to do it yourself. So it basically comes down to what you're willing to let go of, what resource you're willing to expend on that.
It's funny because I don't like the phrasing, but it is highly accurate. They say that like everything that you want requires sacrifice. Yeah, I know, but when you think about it, it's true. Mm-hmm. You're cooking dinner, let's say you want food, right? Mm-hmm. You're giving somebody your money to bring you the food. So now that money, until you create new money, you just sacrificed something else. Plus you sacrificed your cat. Princess, it's choice, right? It's not like you're not putting yourself, on a stake, right? And like I'm the martyr,
right?
But it's
I think it's a trade. I think we can call it a trade. You're going to trade something.
You are going to trade something,
and it just comes down to what you want to trade.
And sacrifice is the mindset.
Yeah. I don't like that word very much, but yeah. So,
but some people, like the hardcore people, like if you look at like David Goggins or whatever, like he's like, that's a powerful word. I know, but for him, it's a powerful word, and that's like, but that's also an example going back to what you were talking about with what you're putting out and why it's not working. Like, if I said to you, all right, Tanya, like, are you done trading your time for money or trading your money for time, one or the other, you're going to resonate with, as an example, because I'm using trade, more than are you done with sacrificing your day to make a couple of dollars?
Actually, because you said sacrificing, then you hit that emotional trigger. Like, I don't want to give up my day. But trading is more palatable. So while I am willing to say for that quote that you just gave, I'm willing to use the word trade there, it doesn't elicit the same sort of fuck no, give me back my time.
Right.
Don't touch my time. This is my time,
Right.
And so using sacrifice in that way, that's what we call negative marketing. No, there's
but so then does sacrificing money for more time, like, does that hit the same way? Like, it's going to depend on the person. Like, for me, sacrificing time for money hits harder than sacrificing money for time. I'm willing to, here, take my money, do the thing.
Yep. I'm willing, like money is a tool And so in that way, it's like, if you're going to make my life easier, there's the money. Go ahead.
Yeah.
It's not a sacrifice.
And you can get more money.
Right. Right. It's not a sacrifice.
Can't get more time. Can't get that time back.
You can't get more time, and you can't get more I mean, you can't replace that feeling of ease. Does that like that whole like that peace of mind of having somebody else take care of it is like, that's worth it.
And it gives you so much more like energy for the other stuff that you have to do yourself.
Yes.
You know, the things that are hard and the things that are fun.
Right. 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 So, I forgot what the fuck we started this episode with.
We were talking about it started out with putting out an offer that didn't work.
Oh yeah.
And diagnosing and started with my carbonara. How would I fix it?
There we go. So how to know if you need to okay, gotcha. All right. So now I want to make sure that we're coming back to the point with all of this. And what it comes down to is that we've got choices to make, we've got decisions to make, and we need to decide whether or not an offer that failed is worth assessment and re-presentation, or if it's something that we're going to table and move on to another time. And in that diagnosis, if you are going to diagnose, that you need to know what points to diagnose to know where your weakness laid. I don't know. I don't do words.
That's words for a living. So wait. I want to go back to that for a second, but slowly. For the people who do listen, can you run through those questions again, assuming that it's a problem that somebody
offer and you want to get it out there. It's something you're passionate about. Okay, so assuming that an offer is one you're passionate about and it did not work, you need to look at the offer itself, right? Does it need to be restructured? Does the offer need to be restructured? Could it be presented through a different medium than, emails, or can it be a group session? So look at the offer itself to see if you could improve the structure and presentation of it. And then you want to look at the copy that you used to present the offer. Did you hone in on the words that you needed to hone in on for your audience? Are you telling them this is what we solve, and those are the words they're looking for, and this is how we solve it, right? Also, did you remove their objections to it? Did you give enough value or make it like a no-brainer yes in the copy? Did you present the copy enough to enough people, right? So that painful consistency in presentation, right? And then how many people got to see the offer, right? And you can't know that if you're just using personal profile analytics until they come, because I heard they're coming. You can't know that.
I think they're here now.
Personal profile analytics?
Yeah, I think you have to convert your personal profile. I haven't done it yet.
I don't have that option yet. I don't agree with this at all. That's not very nice. But so personal. And so you look at your analytics to see how many people saw it. If you're using emails, you can tell, how many people opened the emails. Then if you've got the emails opened, but people were not clicking, then you have there's an entire battery of stuff that you can go through. How many people opened the email? How many people clicked on the email? So total page traffic. That's why I want people to use sales pages, because you can tell who went to the link, right? I love just throwing up pop-up offers in social media and going through that. But you can't tell. You haven't been able to tell unless you have, the analytics to see who's responding to what posts. Did you post it everywhere? How often did you post it? And how much marketing space did you give yourself before it launched, right? Like some people say 14 days is enough. Some people do only a week, right? So it comes down to assessing everything from the offer all the way through to the analytics.
So is that something that you can help people with?
Yes, I do that. I can help people do that. That would be like a creative strategy session. We would sit down and go over all of those numbers and see where everything went, and take a look at the offer itself, the copy, and the audience, as well as the structure and the analytics. So, but that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
If you're passionate about it, put it on a sales page, get the definite numbers on it, watch everything go through. If you don't get the results you want, then, let's take a look at it and see what's what. And they can work with you to get that energy right. Because, people be showing up in funky kind of ways. Like, I'm not really sure if this is going to work, but I'm going to offer it anyway. Well, I don't want it if you're not really sure. You know what I mean?
But, and that is part of it. Like, if somebody like works with you and like you get everything on point and things are still off, then it's like, all right, Robin, let's look at the energy. Like, what's going on here?
Indeed. Indeed.
And usually it's something really simple. It was really exciting because I have somebody who's brand new on the monthly business energy clearings, and she's like, this one client who she has been trying to get money from for months and months and months, out of the blue sent her a payment.
Nice.
Nice.
What?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. It matters. Yeah. It really does matter, because, and that's, that's what it comes down to with the, got to get your shit straight before you try to put it out there.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, it's also understanding it's not only the copy that matters. It's not only the energy that matters. It's not only the this. It's not only that. It's like everything.
They're all cogs in the machine.
Yeah. Yeah. And, and some people have the kind of personality, like, where they can kind of bully things into, actualization and everything. And that's awesome if that's who you are. But if that's not who you are, then that you have to get all these other pieces in place.
Yep. Yeah.
So
it's all, the machine needs all the cogs working in tandem and flowing together in order to make this machine really go. So, well, this has been a really great episode today, and I hope that everybody has learned a ton. This has been episode something or other this week of Renegade As Fuck. If you want more of this goodness, then you can check out Robin's business this week on her website. What's that address?
RobinJRosenhouse.com.
RobinJRosenhouse.com. And you need copies.
Creative strategy sessions. Where do they get them?
Yep, you can just pop over to TanyaDaka.com and fill out that little contact form and let me know what you need, and we'll get on. But in the meantime, just get out there, do your thing, renegade as fuck, no rules business, and no rules life.